Hi, I'm Jon Deactis, and this is my story. I am the Executive Director here at the Center of Hope, which is part of the Salvation Army and is in London, Ontario. I oversee the programs that are in this building, but I have lots of managers and supervisors who also take care of the program specifically. My job consists of taking care of this building with all the issues that go on with here. I'm very involved in the community, and I have been involved in the community for the past 40 years. Many years ago when I started in this field, I really felt called to do the work of serving people right from high school on, knowing that that's what I wanted to do somehow. And I ended up starting in children's mental health. I then moved on to adult addiction, and now here dealing and working with the homeless adults. So I've just had this incredible desire to always want to work in a faith-based organization. And before coming here to the Center of Hope, I worked at Mission Services as the Director of Addictions. And just a year and a half ago, I came over here to the Center of Hope as the Executive Director. I've always let my faith kind of dictate my career. And I really do feel that God has called me to serve people in different ways. And this is one of them. And I really believe this is a calling, not a job for me. So I feel this is ministry in all the jobs I've had, or all the things I've done in serving God. And I believe it's ministry work, even though I get paid for it. So, I've really been called to do this type of work, and this is what my experiences are. This is my education, and I think God's just provided all these opportunities because I believe this is what He's called me to do. I really came in here looking to how can I serve not just the clients and the residents who are here, but the staff team that I have, the staff team here, which is 150 people. I really am focused on how to serve others so they can do their work and their calling better. The folks that we serve here, they're probably the most humbled people in society. They're not seen highly. And I think it's very humbling for me to be able to come in and serve them. I go out and I greet people. I walk through the dining hall at meal times. In the hallways. I want to talk to people. I invite them into my office. I want them to feel like I'm somebody that they can talk to, whether it be about things going on inside the building or about their faith. And many times I've had the opportunity for people to come in and just ask me to pray for them. And that's humbling for me as well, to serve people in that way. So I also did youth ministry for 37 years, and so I consider that, if you want to call it a workplace, again, I believe it's a calling. But I think humility works itself out in just the fact that every day I come in, I start my day off with prayer for the people I work with, for the clients we work with, and I think it just keeps my eyes open to what I'm really called to do. Jesus did not come to be served, He came to serve others. And so my prayer daily when I come in here is to really pray that I can serve anybody that I come in contact with that day. We've had a lot of difficulties in this building. When just outside we had a lot of tents set up, which we call, rough living or whatever it is, and a very difficult population. But they're also our neighbors. And I've had this heart and burden that we consider them our neighbors as Jesus did. And how do we serve those even though it's difficult because of what they bring to us? I need to be humbled in the point that this is what Jesus has called me to do as well, and I don't differentiate. And so I really focus on that whole piece of servanthood, and whether it be to clients, whether it be to outside, whether it be to difficulties in my life, I just want to be able to serve, and I just look to Jesus for my role model in doing that. Honestly, when you're working with this population, every time you have contact with them, they leave you a story. Their lives are a story. And when you actually have the opportunity to sit down and talk with them and hear what their story is, you can't help but feel humbled by who they are and the strength that they actually have. Even though they're in the midst of addiction and mental health and homelessness, there's this incredible thing that happens to your heart. And I think Jesus just turns my heart into jello sometimes because I'm just called to serve this group, and I just feel like it's an incredible calling that I just feel so fortunate to be called to. Things like baseball bats and guns and knives and all those things that would just scare you, and yet I've never felt in danger. Like I've never felt unsafe, even though it is unsafe, I get that. And so I'm very humbled by that I'm called to do this, and then I see lives change because of it. So, here we have a couple chaplains in here, and I have opportunity to be with them, but this staff team, they come in and they ask for prayer. The clients ask me to pray for them. We have a recovery community center here, and people are asking for prayer, and I'm humbled by being in a place that I'm allowed to do that. So many things happen here on a day-by-day basis. I go home sometimes and I'm shaking my head, and yet there's other days I go home and I just think, God, you saw me through this. I can't believe, it was a crazy day, and yet I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm Jon Deactis, and this is my story.